Hello, everyone. We are into the holiday season, and with that means lots more people around, families in town. Even if you have older kids, like I have a teenager, you might have younger ones, like my nephew that's four, that is in your house. And also, along with that, is more hot beverages, teas, hot chocolates. So, we have Jessica from Shriners Children's Ohio with us to give us some tips on burn prevention. So, welcome on to the show again.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, so we've got a few different topics that you wanted to cover for us as far as holiday burn prevention tips. And so, things in the kitchen, like cooking on the hot stove or, making those hot beverages and whatnot, decor with candles, if you have things on your tree. And then fireplaces. I grew up with a fireplace and we didn't have the glass front. It was just, like the grate and stuff and the fire pokers and all that. So we will start with the kitchen. What do you have for us?
Yeah, like you mentioned, around the holidays, it's the kitchen sort of the heart of the home. You may have a lot of out of town visitors, and everyone seems to gather in the kitchen, and maybe you're cooking or people are bringing in food. And so it's easy to let maybe your attention wander, and you've got little kids sort of in and out in the kitchen. Really the best way, what we say, is just to make the kitchen a no kid zone, right? Just stay out of there. If you need something, kind of ask from at a distance. But if you are cooking, and this applies to little kids too, but even for adults, make sure you utilize those back burners, the handles on your pot. Sometimes we can kind of angle them out. And so they're hanging sort of over the stove, kind of in the walkway. And that's just a really easy way for, a spill to happen. Scalds are the most common types of burn we see. So that's any type of liquid burn. So you mentioned coffee, hot chocolate, hot tea, things like that. And then cooking kind of falls in that same vein. So make sure you turn those handles to the side, so they're not hanging over the edge. Use those back burners as possible. And again, best advice is just to leave kids out of the kitchen so you and the rest of the adults can focus on the food that needs to be made, and keep them out of there just so your attention isn't kind of wandering while you're trying to keep an eye on so many things.
Yeah, those are good tips. And then also, do you have any tips? So, like, if we do have the hot beverages and we're walking around the house out of the kitchen, some ideas of how to eliminate the burns from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Little kids, especially younger ones, they just want to reach up kind of over their head, maybe grab food out of the microwave or grab their cup of noodles or their Easy Mac, whatever. But even for mom and dads, you've got your hot beverage in the morning or evening. We recommend using travel tumblers even inside, where you've got that tight ceiling lid. So when kids grab it, and you think about toddlers, it's over their head, that hot liquid there. I mean, it can get really, really hot when you think about the coffee that comes out of your Keurig or coffee pot, instantaneous burn, and you can really get into a second and third degree burn on their scalp. And so using that tight fitting lid, lessens the chance that some of it could spill out. And also, you and I talked earlier that if you've got really busy or you've got little ones, you don't really have the leisurely morning to sort of sip and enjoy your coffee. And it might be half an hour in between sips. And so might as well keep it warm. And also those little prying hands away, because we know they move fast and they're curious, especially your fun holiday mug. What kid wouldn't want to grab it and look at it?
Oh, I know there's like a Christmas tree on the inside and everything.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's wonderful. I mean, it's a great time, and we sort of want kids to be part of our holiday celebrations. It's really a magical time with family traditions. So we certainly want people to uphold those traditions. And a lot of it involves food, or there's food and drink sort of around, but do it in a safe way. So make sure safety is part of, and prevention is part of your plan.
Yeah, those are good. And then as far as decor, so candles or things on the tree, what do you have for us on that?
Yeah, you hear sort of our local fire departments talk about tree fires. So make sure if you have a live tree, make sure you're watering it every day. Never leave those lights on unattended. And honestly, they shouldn't be left on all day. Certainly, if you're not home, they need to go off. Make sure there's nothing near sort of that outlet. watch little kid hands by those outlets as well. But even with, fake trees, you still need to watch. Those bulbs don't get as hot as they used to in our parents and grandparents' days. But that's really what you need to keep in mind. Candles are a big one. Anything near them, especially decor, is flammable. And so you really want to watch what you have it near. And again, those candles get really hot. You've got kids who are curious about maybe the new decor up. And so we really recommend the flameless battery operated candles. There are some really nice ones out there that give you sort of that warm glow that you're searching for, but without sort of the danger of a fire hazard. And again, when you've got a lot of people in your home, there's a lot going on. It's really easy to miss all the different pieces of lit decor. So definitely when you go to bed, make sure everything is off. When you leave the home, make sure everything is off. And really, if you can avoid, flame candles, use those flameless candles would really be best.
Yeah, and they've come a long way on those, like, just in the last year or so. We just got a whole set for this holiday season where you can actually change, like, the flicker level, and I
Oh, yeah.
know, they've got, like, the little wick looks like it's moving, but
Yeah.
we, like,
There's
kinda
fun
changed it.
colors. You can get holiday colors, and then, if you wanna have fun with the kids and give them now some of them have remotes, give them the power of the remote.
Mhm.
You may not want them to have the controls of flickering, but that's a really fun way where you can kind of keep them, involved. So it's just more being aware, you're gonna have a lot more maybe candles burning or lit decor up, and just be mindful of that. And, you mentioned the start with, like, fireplaces. And that's another burn we see in kids, not so much a flame burn because a lot of people have, the glass or they have sort of the grates across. But what we see are contact burns. And a contact is like they put their palm or their foot against something. So that glass,
Mm,
even just, a gas fireplace, gets so hot. And so if they're using the glass, especially little ones that are learning how to walk, and they put their palm up to
yeah.
brace themselves, that's another really common burn that we see, is that contact burn from a grate or the glass front of a fireplace. So again, it's being aware as it gets colder. We're running them more. Again, we've got family over. It's certainly nice and kind of a nice magical moment. But just make sure that your kids understand they're old enough. Keep them away from that area, and just you be mindful that is a common place where they just don't think about and put their palm out to brace themselves, and then you've got easily a second-degree burn.
Mm, yeah, so those are great prevention tips. However, if something does happen, what kind of services do you all offer at Shriners, that
Yeah.
parents could turn to?
So we are the specialists in pediatric burn care. So that's what we do day in and day out. So no burn is too small for us, and something for parents to keep in mind. Even a little burn, on a little tiny hand, and it seems small. That skin, as it grows, can kind of change and move, and they could get a contracture, or they look fine now, but maybe their thumb starts to curve in. Just always bring it to us. Again, there's no burn that's too small. You can go to shrinersohio.org, and there's a phone number there for emergencies that you can call, or if it's a smaller burn and you maybe want to wait till during the week and just be seen, in our clinic, we do most of our treatment in an outpatient basis. So we are there to help you. We know accidents happen, and that's why we're here. But in the meantime, if you do have a child that sustains a burn, first thing you want to do is get them away from whatever is burning them, right? If it's the hot water, if it spills on their clothes, take those clothes off, because that burning process will continue as long as they're wearing that clothing, especially because kids' skin, it is thinner than adults. You want to run that burned area, that burned skin, under kind of room temperature tepid water. Do not use ice. That actually makes it worse. It seems like it would be soothing, but it makes it worse. So just room temperature tepid water. You can wrap it in clean, dry bandages or a cloth, just something dry, just to kind of keep it protected. And then again, if it's an emergency situation, obviously call 911 if it's something that extreme. But you can also always call us, and we'll walk you through kind of what you need to do, or see if you need to be seen by us. And then you can kind of rest assured that we're there for the initial burn process, right? That initial injury, but then also as it heals, any scarring, we're there to help minimize it. So we know in the moment it can be really scary, but those are some simple things you can do. should the worst happen. And like I said, we are staffed 24/7. So should it be, a more severe burn, we're here for families.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have you all so close in the area for all the parents around Cincinnati or Dayton that are tuning into this.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that I want families to know is we provide all of that care, regardless of a family's ability to pay or insurance status. So if you have insurance, that's no problem. You don't need a doctor to refer you. You call us directly, and you can get seen. If you don't have insurance, that's also fine. The bottom line is we want to make sure your child gets the best care, and whatever they need without sort of those barriers. So you don't need to wait for your pediatrician to make a referral or an urgent care. You can come to us directly, and we'll get you and your child seen and develop an appropriate care plan, which may be as simple as one visit, and that's what we all hope for, is just a simple visit. But we're going to make sure that it heals the way you and your child want, with no functional or sort of cosmetic concerns at all.
Yeah, yeah, and you all do amazing work. I've loved seeing the stories of the kids that have gone through there and how you supported the families, and especially that way of making sure people know they can come to you, like even if they're worried about the financial piece.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want, families from various backgrounds. We welcome all, and we really want to stress that no burn is too small. We do take care of some of the more rare but big, really critical burns. We have the capacity to handle those. But we also see most of the burns we see are well under, 10% burns. So they're on the smaller side. But that doesn't mean your child, doesn't deserve specialized burn care. And that's what we're here to do. Or even if you have a child that was maybe burned a couple years ago, but you're concerned on how it's healing or there's some scarring, we will still see you after that, as long as they're under the age of 18. There are things we can do to kind of help maybe tweak some of that scarring, release some of the contractures, excuse me, if you notice maybe their hand isn't functioning kind of properly or there's some tightness. So we're, regardless of where you are in that burn recovery phase or where your child is, we're here for you.
That's great. Yeah, well, we'll make sure to link your website and some different resources for parents out there. But thank you so much for sharing these and to help
Absolutely.
everybody stay safe.
Yeah, I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season. It's certainly a great time to gather with friends and family, and we want that to happen. We want people to make those memories, and bring children into those traditions. But it's easy to sort of lose track, and there's a lot going on. And so we want to make sure, safety and prevention is always part of your holiday celebrations.
Yes, of course. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on with us.
Thank you.
So, if you do have the capability and you are looking for ways to give back this holiday season, we would love if you would donate and help support Shriners Children's in Ohio. If you will follow the link that is in the description, and it will actually go directly to Shriners Children's Ohio. So that way it will help support the families that do not have the financial resources to get the care that they need. So we would love if you would help with that. And everybody stay safe.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this content, make sure to click the like button, share with a friend, and hit the bell to subscribe and be notified when we have new stuff to share. Doesn't cost anything, so why not? Scan the QR code to be taken to our site and see all the new stuff that we put out every week.